You seen last week they've sneaked in 23,000 Afghans because of a data breach and the families. So they reckon that's going to go up to 100,000. We haven't got a leg to stand on, even though we've left with Brexit because of the European Court of Human Rights. Okay? So we have to give up them human protections that we get from the European Court of Human Rights to get them out of the country. And if we do that, we'll give up our own protection in the short term. So I think this is problem solution. Ike spoke about it, Gareth. They already have this in hand, this digital IT. Matt Lattis has been talking about it this week. This is what they want. They want this digital IT cards, this China-style credit system.
Social credit system. It's what they want. And they turn the heat up and import these fucking invaders to create this tension, to create these frustrations and rioting and backlash. And they've already got the solution inbuilt, which is, you silly cunts, come here, we're going to lock you down more, we're going to censor you more, we're going to fucking take away your freedoms. And the next time we say, right, you need this COVID vaccine, the next time you can't get out of it at the level that people have been able to opt out of it. And we know now from the data that's coming out that, you know, in the States now, we know that vaccine, and I know that out there, I do believe the people who are persecuting me in court and taking me on are funded by Big Pharma.
Yeah.
And it's to shut us up. It's to shut us up talking about it, because when you look at the people I've taken on, you've just seen Stephen Colbert in America. I don't know whether you follow him. He's like an English fella who's got a big talk show, but he was a massive vaccine pusher. There's a few videos again where he's dancing around the needles, pushing it round, because he went really heavy on getting everyone vaccinated. And Colbert has had a show cancelled. Now, every single person in this country that I know who was pushing them vaccines, pushing them heavy, the government shills.
Just get yourself off that phone.
Yeah, your thing's on there. The government shills have benefited. When you look at the likes of Piers Morgan, who was advocating, and Vine and all that, who were advocating madness, they're all getting on. They're getting extra shows. I'm going, wow, what's going on here? In America, because of Trump and what's gone on there, they're running for the hills. Like, you know, when you see The View and Joy Reid and all them crackpots, they've all had all their shows taken away from them because they realise they've gone too far. And in the UK, the people who pushed the agenda that harmed lots of people are actually being rewarded. We're living in this fucking dystopian nightmare in the UK. And again, the people in Epping, you know, they're similar to the people in Knowsley, the Knowsley Suites. Now, you can't condone the violence and the setting fire to stuff and the stuff that goes way beyond, you know, peaceful protest. But this is how frustrated people are. And again, I think these solutions are being inbuilt. So we sign away our freedoms. We sign away our right to protest. And we become, you know, this fucking dystopian, Orwellian social credit score. You have to behave to get on. Nightmare. Why was opinions in the Soviet Union suppressed the way they were? I have put it on my Twitter for people to follow it. But when you go through the steps, look, we're nowhere near as bad as the Soviet Union at the minute, but by God, there's some red flags. Control of the mainstream media, you know, the judiciary and the courts working for the government. But when you go through, and I won't bore you, as I say, with the details, you want to go and find it, it's on my Twitter feed, but when you go through it, you'll see there's many red flags. We're getting eerily similar to that gulag, Soviet oppression, control of the mind, gaslighting you, you know, double think, where they say one thing but it means a completely different thing. And if we're not careful, not only you, but your kids and their kids and their kids could be in for a very tough existence if we allow this madness to continue with our politics. And that leads me into the next trench of it, which is, I don't know whether you have seen this, Labour have announced that 16 to 18 year olds now are going to be allowed to vote, which is a really smart move. If you're Labour, you're going to get an absolute arse kicking at the next election, because you've been fucking crap since you got in. Starmer, Reeves, Rayner and Miliband and all the other fucking crackpots on the front bench at Labour. And you're going to get told by the people in no uncertain terms at the next election that you're not for them. Okay? So the antidote to it is 16 to 18 year olds vote. All right? Because they know that, you know, in these Muslim communities where, you know, they're breeding a lot quicker than us, that 70% of those 16 to 18 year old voters are going to vote for Labour. They're not going to vote for Tory. So this is their way of picking up votes that they would have lost because people have deflected to Reform, or I don't know what's Nigel Reform's Nigel Farage.
There's the Green Party.
Rupert Lowe started the party, can't remember it. But anyway, to kind of split that vote. So what they're missing here is, that's fine, that's all good and well, but there's a sinister side to this, because once you can vote, you can be conscripted into an army. So at this moment in time, I think we should raise the voting level to 25. To not shorten it. If you can't have a drink and you can't get a tattoo, why should you be able to vote? Let's be honest. Once you're paying bills and swimming in your own stream, not on your mum and dad's umbilical cord, then you should get the right to vote. No problem at all. But also, 16 and 18 year olds voting, for me, is madness, and it's a complete abuse of power by Labour and an attempt to shore up.
How is that legal for them while they're in power to lower for their benefit? It's like, surely someone can step in there. Because that
the Democrats were trying to do it in. So the Democrats were trying to do it in America. So this is this thing of having there's no ID. You don't need any ID to vote. All right? That's what they want. Because they can get people voting 2 or 3 times and pretending they're somebody else, especially, the old spin bowlers, lad. They fucking Mustafa such a body, fucking Muhammad other body here, you know what I mean? And especially if it's women who've got the old post box on, how are you going to fucking know who's who? Same way with the delivery, just sit here. I've sat here, got early today, sat here watching Uber Eats and Deliveroo drivers. I'm telling you, if ICE is in America rounding up all the fucking construction workers, which is right or wrong, if they're illegally, then if you want to catch illegal immigrants here, just phone a takeaway, phone an Uber, phone a Deliveroo, phone an Uber Eats or whatever it is, or Just Eats. Because it's full of Middle East drivers. I guaranteed they're not documented. You can tell by looking at them that they're not living here properly. That's not all of them. It's dangerous to generalise. That's not all of them. But very, very quickly, you could catch thousands of people. And again, I've seen this online. People going to these migrant hotels in London and there's bike stops fenced off outside. And all there is fast food couriers around London. Because, when just look around you. Look around you. Next time you see a food delivery or a taxi driver, just look at it. That's for me, something that's happening in plain sight. They're not even hiding that. That's just happening out in front of you. That leads me into really good win this week for Lindsay Smith and We Are Fair Cop, the guys over there, and the Free Speech Union. I met Lindsay at a speaking event for the Free Speech Union. There was a baroness in there. I think her name was Claire Fox, Baroness Fox and Lindsay, and we all spoke at the same thing about freedom of speech, and she was in the middle of this court case. But anyway, a couple of days ago, she's won it, and the case was against Northumbria Police, who had pride all plastered over the cars, because her argument was, well, they're not impartial. Police force should remain impartial politically, shouldn't be leaning one way or the other. And thankfully for them, because it's made they're going to that High Court, but thankfully the High Court has ruled in their favour. Northumbria Police now have said they're not going to have, the rainbow flag on cars, and officers all buying into it, which is the right way. Let's be honest, Pride and the fella who's been involved in that just been done for fucking molesting a 12-year-old disabled person or something. Why are they getting involved in it? It should be impartial, shouldn't be politicised, but as we know, they're only human. But thankfully, Lindsay and the We Are Fair Cop and the guys there and girls there got a great result. So I'm buzzing for you, Linz. Well done. Taking it to the establishment. What other stuff have I got to rattle through? That was the thing of the 20,000 Afghans that they did, 24,000 Afghans that they didn't know were here, that the government have tried to hide. Been super injunction after super injunction on it. Finally released. What have we let in there? Because as far as I know, Afghanistan is a third world country, so there's a good chance that 90% of those people coming in are third world mindsets. And obviously we're seeing now with the Knowsley Sweets crisis, where a young schoolgirl was approached and pestered by invaders, illegal third world invaders. Same again in Epping, where a young schoolgirl in a uniform, from what I gather, has been raped or sexually assaulted by illegal invaders in a hotel. And at that time, Yvette Cooper, who's now the Home Secretary, was the Shadow Home Secretary. And she come out and she, give her all the beans and the big finger by the far right and all that. You got to realise these are concerned parents who do not want their kids to get sexually assaulted by people who should not be in this country, that have no right to be in this country. They're from a completely different part of the world with a completely different culture, and you can't just amalgamate them in. Yes, there'll be some of them who settle, do really well and contribute to society, but unfortunately the majority of them are going to be held up by the state, and that can't happen when we can't even support our own. Our pensioners are having money taken off them. Everybody in employment is having money taken off them because the cost of living's going up. The fucking inflation is going through the roof. And I see the other day, a war veteran was sleeping in a car park. He's obviously got one leg from, when I say obviously, you wouldn't know that, but he's got one leg from something that happened either in Iraq or Afghanistan. He's now living in a car park addicted to spice with like a tarpaulin over him. And we've got these fuckers who've got nothing to do with our country, not related to us one bit, do not want to be integrated in our society, have completely different morals, who are staying in 4 and 5 star accommodation and getting 4 meals a day and dentist appointments and doctor's appointments. Ahead of the people who have paid tax here and worked here. And in this fella's case, saved and lost a leg fighting for his country in one of these illegal wars for either oil or opium. Garden fucking poppy fields and opium fields for the US and for the big pharma out there. And then they come back to this country with PTSD or wounds or stuff that they can't manage and end up getting addicted to drugs to cope. And next minute they're left to fucking rot in car parks and in parks or under benches living in tarpaulin, while these fuckers who we know nothing about are getting 5-star treatment at the taxpayer's expense. If you don't think that's wrong, you want your head testing. Now, I'm all for a version of legal immigration, very, very similar to Australia's immigration quota, where they say, okay, you want to come and live in this country and start a life, no problem. Tell us what your skills are, okay? Tell us what your trade is, okay, no problem. Yeah, we need that in the country. You can come in, you're welcome. Sorry, you've got no skills. You're going to be a drain on the economy. No, you can't come in. Dead fair system. If you're going to bring contribution, skills to our country and integrate yourself and your family and be part of our culture and buy into what we're about, don't have to be the same religion. No, everyone's allowed to like what they want. If you're prepared to do that, then this is the place for you. Bring people like that, because they will contribute to the revenues of our society, tax, and they will help our country. But what we can't have is this illegal, crazy, batshit crazy policy on immigration.